Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Talk Busy with Lizzy podcast. I'm your host, Lizzy, and today's guest, no other word to describe him but awesome, okay? This guy was so cool to talk to, had such a great time. His name's Darrick. He is the creator of From My Eyes, which is a movie on YouTube. If you want to go watch it, please do. It was amazing. It literally blew my mind. When I watched the trailer on TikTok, I knew he needed to come on the podcast, so I reached out to him, and even just from that moment of reaching out to him, I knew he was going to be fun to talk to. Really great guy. So we talked, and I will just say that he's the same in the movie as he is in person. Such a genuine dude. So fun. Had great insight. Was super funny. Just talking to him was just literally so cool. And so I will just say that, this is definitely an episode you're not going to want to miss. And if you're listening on the regular just podcasts, platform, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please go watch it on YouTube, because there are going to be photos that he's going to share from filming. So that was super cool. So without further ado, let's just get right into the podcast episode, because you guys, this was such a good one to film.
How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. How are you? Did you make that behind you?
No, I bought that.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, if I made that, but I am not that talented at art, so no.
Well, if you put your mind to it, I bet you could do it.
There you go. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. I just got back from a walk with my mom. I've got a mom and dad. I call them mom and dad 2.0 to people that I'm introducing them to, but they're my mom and dad. And so her name's Jennifer Welch, and then my dad's name is Shannon Welch. And so I grew up with them, and they're I guess what you would call godparents, but they're my parents now. And so so yeah. But I let's see, just I didn't have time to do the full walk with her, so I had to run back here, and it's been the first time that I've run in a while, which is not good. And so
yeah. My brother made me go on a run with him, and it did not go well. Let me just
dude, I love running. I just I'm on a new project right now, and the schedule has just been so wild for the past 3 months, but it's no excuse. It's just I'm learning and training to have more control over my schedule and healthy habits and all of that. So yeah.
I feel that. So I came home from school, and life has just been so crazy. And so trying to fit things in that I did at school, that now, because I have 3 jobs, it's trying to fit that in. It's crazy. So I totally get that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a juggling act. Does my mic sound all right? Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a juggling act, but it's worth it, and being healthy is worth it. And that is something that whenever I would go on runs with my mom while I was editing From My Eyes, I would be like, oh, I'm tired, and she's like, Darrick, why do we run? And I'm like, I don't know, to freaking lose weight. And she's like, no, why do we run? And I was like, I don't know, Mom, why do we run? And she's like, because we can. And so today I ran because I could. And yeah, dude, she's awesome. I hope you get to meet her.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. So I don't have the premium Zoom, so we have 40 minutes.
Well, hey, actually, if you want, I have premium Zoom, and so if you want to make me host, I can, or I could send you a new link if that works, and then we can just talk straight through. And then I can record on my end and send you the recording.
That would actually probably work best.
Okay, cool. Okay. I will email you a link in 1 minute. Give me 60 seconds.
Cool. Perfect.
Just 60 seconds, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Perfect.
Heck yeah.
Okay. So I guess we could just jump right in if that works for you.
However you want to do it, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
Awesome. I'm so excited.
I've got until 6 p.m. So I'm kidding.
I am really excited to be doing this. I saw like your trailer on your TikTok and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool because literally your whole, well, not your whole story, but part of your story is just all out there. And that's what I want to do with this podcast is share these stories. So I was like, I need to have you on. And so I watched the film I think the day after it came out and
Oh,
I
wow.
was just blown away. It was so cool. And to be honest, my favorite part was at the very end in your credits when you put executive producer God. I thought honestly so cool.
Isn't that epic?
Yeah, I was like, it's so true. He's the executive producer of everybody's life. So
100%. And it's wild how that all that came to be, but that's one of my favorite parts as well. That really felt like we were really rounding home base with the film whenever I either I had that idea or God laid it on my heart, but I can take you to the spot where I had the idea. So
please do.
yeah. But yeah, it was epic to be able to actually do that. And it was a big leap to do that too. Cause I was like, all right, I'm really gonna rewatch this movie and make sure God's okay with it, and I hope He is. And so yeah, it was the coolest honor of my life to be able to have God as the executive producer of my first film, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's amazing. And one of my questions is, how did your faith in God affect this project and just your life throughout these 9 years?
Well, that's a big question, Lizzie. How much time you got, fella?
I know, right?
I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been for God, period. And for the relationship with God that I got to see my mom have all growing up. And even through her her flaws that I realized growing up, as well as I had so many flaws and my dad had flaws and all of that. But like to be able to see to be able to grow up in a household that the true foundation of it was a relationship with God, and that even in our flaws, we were still just trying to do our best. Molded me into who I am today. Like the essence of From My Eyes. I mean, one of the things that I would always tell myself is like, don't film or do anything that you wouldn't be proud to show your little brothers. And Garrett, Gage, and Graham have been my little brothers since Graham was born and since before Graham was born. And so everything I did in college was always, even kissing Lexi at the top of Tiger Stadium was like just this, would I be proud to show my little brothers this? And I think all of that really does come down to, I mean, bring it all back to just a relationship with God. It was totally crucial. Is I can also honestly say I probably wouldn't have gotten the idea for From My Eyes if I hadn't have talked with God about it for months leading up to the day that I started filming, because I was just on my way to math class on October 9th, 2012, when that still small voice just infected my spirit with this idea, what if you filmed college? And I was like, yeah, right. But I can honestly say I am dude, I am not creative enough to have come up with the idea to film From My Eyes, let alone have finished it. And I mean, it's I used to tell people, if and when we finish this, like, there will be no proof that there is not a God. Because I'm sorry, after I run, I get these coughs. Sorry.
I do too, so you're good.
Yeah, so but there's no proof that God doesn't exist, because it will be a dadgum miracle that we finished. And so and that's kind of my litmus test for any idea that I want to do moving forward, is like, I want every project that that God allows me to be a part of to be so audacious and so wild that if we can finish it and pull it off, that it'll be yet another example of of God exists. So I hope that answers your question. It was 100% integral. I suck without God. Quote me. So
Me too. Same. I write books and they're all Christian fiction, and to say that it would be just me would be a complete lie, because without him, my writing would go nowhere.
Yeah. And I heard this thing said it was a pastor was talking with this with like somebody who sang on stage one time, and he walked up to him and was like, "Hey, you did so good." And they were like, "Well, it was all God. It was all God." And they're like, "Well, it wasn't that great." And so like let me just also say, like, I'm honored to be able to collaborate with God, because I think that's also what our lives are, and ultimately what From My Eyes was. It was an ultimate collaboration between a very real, very small human with a very real and very big God. And so that's like, but I feel you. It is definitely a collaborative effort that took 10 years to do. It was, and I'm so excited to see what God has for me next, and for you next. Goodness.
Thank you. I know I'm excited. When I saw that at the very end you were talking about your new project, I was like, ooh, I want to like hear all about this. Which I guess we can get to towards the end of the podcast. But I know one of the big things for you, and I felt like it, like while watching it, seemed like kind of an answer, well, not kind of, it seemed like an answered prayer, was MagCon. And I was just wondering, what about that stuck out to you the most and is like stuck with you the most?
I'm back.
Perfect.
Thank you for waiting. I'm sorry about that.
No, don't be at all. I know you always like need something, so I had my stuff all ready because I was like, I'm gonna need some water at some point during
Yes, dude. What stuck out the most, or what? So I guess, are you wanting to know like what did I learn from that season the most?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, easy. You can't go outside because you're gonna bark at people. Sorry, but my dog Landry, come here, hop up here. Come up here, come up. Whatever. He's not coming. He's like right there. He is.
Aw, so cute.
His name's Landry.
Aww.
So where was I? Oh yeah, that is super easy. I learned the value of being a good influence on influencers, and how to be a good influence on the people around me. It really taught me a lot about how do I say this? It really taught me a lot about how every person around you is influencing somebody. Whether it's their family, whether it's their friends, whether it's 20 million followers, like it's no different. You are the lives of 10 are just as valuable as that 20 million. And being a good influence on the people around you is so important. And so like whenever I started filming, I very, very much wanted to be famous. I wanted to make people laugh on a large scale. I want to make videos on YouTube that went viral and all of that stuff. And I tried and failed and moved on to something larger for me, which was making From My Eyes.
Yeah.
And that's where I found the value of dude, it's in my brain back then, like fame was, oh, okay, that's success. Like that's success. If people know my name, that's success. Because if people know my name, I'm obviously doing something right. That is not always the case. There are very infamous people who we know their names and they did not do the right thing. And so you can't go outside. No. I love you, but no, I'm sorry.
You're good. Our dogs are the same way. They bark at everything that walks by, and I'm like, I'm not letting you out. No.
Oh, dude, he chased a dog earlier, and I was like, dude, I had to get up and yell at him. I scared my mom. It was great. So, oh yeah, but that's not the definition of success. And what I've learned as a result of that, and really, in my opinion, like, as humbly as I can say it, leaning into what God truly had planned for my life, which was not to be a social media influencer, especially at 18. Leaning into that taught me so much more. And it taught me that my definition of success is being able to wake up daily and love people and bring joy and peace to people like God has loved and brought joy and peace to me, while encouraging creativity and making excellence easy, and hopefully creating daily with my best friends. Like, and I can do that. I can do that with a platform of 20 million people. And I can do that as I can do that volunteering at my church. I can do that serving coffee. I can do that if I went back to school and finished my degree and became a lawyer. I can do that. And all of the, I don't think I could do that as like a contract killer though. So I think that's not the most loving job, but I can do that in many different ways than just being famous. And so I on MagCon, I learned so much just about like being able to be a good influence on influencers. And then also a huge lesson, which was the value of surrounding yourself with people that want more for you than from you and doing the same for them. And that was like that whenever I was at MagCon, I was so like honored that I got to lead a Bible study. We had Saturday and Sunday events. And so Sunday morning before our events, didn't matter where we were in the world, we would have I would get to lead a Bible study and just get to encourage these guys. And in Philadelphia at the first one, I was like, God, what can what do I need to say? Like, what can I pass on to these guys? And just started writing stuff out. And then a very rudimentary version of what I just told you came out, and that kind of became the motto of MagCon and the motto of like my presence on MagCon. Like, you better know Darrick wants more for you than from you, or something is wrong. So and that's just how I've tried to live my life moving forward as well. And then one more thing, I also learned the value of like how you can have multiple families, and I didn't realize that early on how integral that was going to be, even post my mom passing away. Like, family is so important. Family and friends is so important. And what we had on MagCon and still have today is just like, we have a family, and there's like, we all just went to Aaron's wedding, and it was just like the family got back together, and it was just a really beautiful day and stuff like that. And so just like the value of having family and your friendships and stuff. So I know I just gave you a bunch of stuff and rambled for a bit. I hope that didn't get too boring.
No, I love that. One of my other favorite parts was when you guys were all praying together beforehand. I thought that was really powerful, especially seeing, I mean, like, for a lot of people, those are some of their favorite influencers growing up. And to see them like praying with you was just so cool. And also I want to point out how I know obviously it's probably hard in the moment of being like, oh, I want to be famous and I'm trying to make these videos and nothing's really happening with them. But then you come out with this project that has taken you forever, and it's absolutely amazing. And I know I've struggled with, oh, I want like, because I was telling you, I write books and I have this podcast. I'm like, oh, I want this one to like, just to take off like that. But sometimes it takes time with writing. I'm like, oh, I just want to get all these books out, but it takes time to do the editing and the actual writing and then the marketing. And so I think it's so important to realize that, time, just because it takes time doesn't make it any less important. It probably actually, the more time you put into it is probably going to make it more important.
Definitely.
And to see that really shine through in your project was really cool to me, because I know I've been struggling with that, with the book aspect of just being like, I just want to be able to get them out. And I'm like, no, like, when I take this time to really make it the best book it can be, it's going to look way better.
Yes.
And when I saw this movie, it just really made that click in my head of being like, no, the time is good.
Time is great. Time is your best friend. And don't let it pass you by. The director's cut, there's a scene that I could pull up and I could show you, as I think you'll be able to hear it if I play it. But there's a scene in the director's cut where I was telling my mom, we were in Carmel, California. Her and I, she took me to LA for the first time in 2015, just her and I. And and I was telling her, like, Mom, we really need this thing. I think it was a drone for a project that we were working on. And we were building out this grant to get like a couple I think $13,000 from the journalism department at LSU to fund a project that we were really wanting to do in college called The South. And I was like, Mom, we need this, and I don't know how it's gonna work. And I'm like, and Mom, if God doesn't come through, like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And she's like, Darrick, stop. You how did she say it? She said, oh yeah, she was like, Darrick, stop. You don't want to miss out on life because you're worrying about all of this. You don't want to look back on 2015 and say, man, I really missed out on my college years because I was worried about this and this and this. You got to know God is going to take care of it. God is going to work it all out. And I've learned that in so many new ways, including like even in death, like our relationship with God isn't just here on earth, it's an eternal thing. Yeah. And I've got no proof that God doesn't provide, like even in death, like that we go and spend eternity with Jesus. That is nuts. That is nuts. Like people have said, like, I'm sorry you lost your mom. I'm like, dude, I know right where she is. Give me a gun, I'll show you. I'm kidding. But she that's terrible. My mom also used to say, she said, if we knew how great heaven was, we would hire a killer. Like, but just stuff like that. But all of that to say, like, time is so precious. It's so precious. There are days that I wasted over the past decade worrying about how am I going to finish this. There were days that I wasted while editing From My Eyes, where I was like, I'm never going to finish this. Like, there were days that were just thrown away just because I gave up. Like, but there were also so many days where I just chiseled away a little bit more and a little bit more. And I also didn't do it alone. I had the best friends around me. I had Zach there daily. I had Morgan there daily. Jesse, Caleb, Jake, Derek Hughes, dude, like Greg Furman, my sister, my grandma, like all of these things, like, and many more. Like I was not alone in it. And I had to write on my desk, Darrick, you are not going to finish From My Eyes today, but you're going to get closer every day. And then on December 15th, 2022, I got to cross out not on there, the word not, and it now reads, Darrick, you are finishing From My Eyes today.
That is
and then put December 15th, 2022 there, and then Zach and I signed it, and now that's like, but I mean, you're gonna get there. Caleb says this great thing, whoever stares at it the longest wins. Like like if you can just keep going, sure, you probably, like, I knew I was never going to be able to finish From My Eyes. I knew it, but I always knew I would. Like, I never thought I could do it, but I always knew I would. And God provides. And that's the thing. Like, I couldn't do it alone. Like, I could only do it with God, and God provided the team. And it's so, and From My Eyes is so much bigger than just me. Like, I can't say that enough. It's so much bigger than just me. And I'm so grateful for that. So grateful for that.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so important to have those people by your side to keep helping you. Just, I mean, sometimes it feels like you're just chugging along, like, just, sometimes it's a struggle, but you have those people that help you and raise up your hands and, help you keep going.
Definitely. And then there are days where everyone's against you and they think you're crazy. And I went through that, and people are going to think you're crazy, especially as a creative. And some people are crazy. They're just flat out crazy. But I think the majority of us are crazy about something, not crazy in the head, but there's something that we are crazy about. And I am crazy about From My Eyes. Like, and I'm crazy about 100 pages, and I'm crazy about my friends and my family and my relationship with God. And keeping that list small is good, so you
Right.
don't become overall crazy.
Yeah. My next question is, how hard is it sharing both the good and the bad?
um I've always been an open book, just because, like, did you ever watch Ted Lasso?
No.
You didn't? There's a really cool line in Ted Lasso where Ted is talking to a therapist, and he starts breaking down, and she's trying to get to the root of, like, why is he so nice to everybody and all of this. And he said, he's like, he tells this story, and I don't want to spoil anything, but he tells this very hard story about his life. And he's like, and I knew on that day I wanted to do everything I could so that nobody would ever have to feel the way that I felt. Like, and I think I learned, I didn't know why I was doing a lot of what I've done over the years, but like, whenever I was growing up. But I've realized, looking back, that a lot of the reason that I've been crazy and loud and outlandish and trying to make everybody laugh is because I I one don't want to live a life just feeling like a victim in my mess, but I also don't want other people to have to live that way either. And if I can bring joy to people, then that's just that. Joy's like an everlasting thing. Happiness is fleeting. Joy is like, that's good. And that's good stuff. One of the fruits of the spirits is not happiness, it's joy. And and I love that. I love that. And so sharing my life with people was more so, is it okay with those around me that I'm sharing it? And so it was hard for my sister, it was hard for my mom, it was hard for Caleb and Ray at times. And so in a lot, and Lexi, and in a lot of ways it needed that time to be able to sit there and marinate, and for me to prove that I could be trusted with their stories.
Yeah.
And while honoring their stories, I learned how to be comfortable with telling mine, because I learned how to honor my story as well.
Wow.
Because dude, I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of vlogs out there where people are just doing stuff for attention rather than trying to tell a legitimate story.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to not make From My Eyes about just trying to get attention. It had to be a legitimate story. There's a post-it note. Hold on, I'll show it to you just so you can see it. I love that I'm in control on here, because I can take you on an
Right.
actual journey here. The pictures, FME BTS. Yeah. Is it showing story or just showing off?
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
good.
And this was something that that was very, very important to all of the montage sequences in the movie, all of these things. And because there was a lot of stuff that could have just easily been just showing off and just telling it just to tell it.
Right.
And that would have been the most boring movie on planet Earth. And so is it showing story or just showing off? And so
I bet that helps you narrow it down too, from all the hours and hours you have of footage.
oh yeah. And then there was still stuff to narrow down, which was nuts. So but I mean, like, even with the realness and real parts of the story, showing off can also be showing off that you're a victim of this situation or whatever. What is the important, how do I say it, like, with everything that we create, ask what your message is, like.
Mhm.
And that was extremely, like Lizzie, it was extremely difficult to figure out the real message of this story. And it should have been difficult, and it shouldn't have been easy. Because name one good story without great opposition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like, and if all, because the early cuts of the film was just like, man, I feel really sorry for Darrick. Like, this is just one of my mentors rightfully called it a love letter to depression, one of the original cuts. And I was like, then we missed it, man. And so so this final cut is a piece that like we finally figured out what that message was. And Darrick, my mom, my sister, Lexi, Caleb, Ray, Cameron, Aaron, any character in this film is anything but a victim. And we've all decided to be heroes of our own stories. And we continue to have to make that decision every day. And so, yeah, hold on. I was just I don't know why I muted it. You could have heard that. I just said, stop it. You can't go out. You just went for a 3-mile walk and you're going to bark at other dogs out there. And I'm going to have to yell and scare mom again. And then I know that she's going to tell dad. And then I'm going to get in trouble. Nope. Sorry.
That's good. My dad let our dogs out and I could hear him barking earlier too. So you're good.
That's awesome. Did that answer your question? I hope it did. Okay, good.
Yeah, it really did. And then my next question. Also, I just want to point out your sticky note that was on the far left about like showing the story and not just telling it. I was like, that's such an author thing too. Like all we hear as advice for authors is show, don't tell. And so I just thought that was like, oh, there we go.
Yes. There's so many cool. Hold on. Do you want to kind of take a tour? These haven't been released yet.
Yes, please. That would be so cool.
These are let's see. Yeah, so this is we edited the first cut of the movie downstairs, which is what you see. Mm-hmm. At the end of the film, and then after the director's cut, we had to cut another 45 minutes out of it. And so this right here is the that's Zach. If that's like one of my best friends. He's the best dude. I could not have made From My Eyes without Zach. Let's see. I write in Sharpie all over my walls and stuff like that. My office probably does look like a crazy person's lair, but I love handwriting, and I love people's signatures, and I love leaving a mark. Let's see, hold on. Where is this? I want to get like there's a wide picture of so this is me being an NPC, just being stupid. That's this. Yeah, I guess this is probably best. Yeah, so this wall, I thought there was a better picture. Yeah, like we could finally storyboard the film. So this wall had our storyboard on it, and anything with pink Post-it notes got cut out of there. So Darrick relives moments with mom and learns final lessons from her. Like that is straight from, how do I say it? Like this whole scene right here. This whole scene right here got cut out of the film, which you haven't seen. And mom taking me to LA, and this is the scene that I was telling you about. Tell me if you can hear this.
Okay. No, I can't hear it.
You can't? Oh, no. Dang. Yeah. So yeah, but let's see, where's one other one? Oh yeah, so this was a guy, one of my mentor in LA, his name's Garrett Warren. He took our 2-hour and 11-minute cut and put it through a wood chipper and made it down to 1 hour and 16 minutes. and we took that. And so the goal was to get as close to that. Right here is the director's cut, the 2 hours and 11 one. And we were just trying to get it as close to this. And that was our final cut ended with an hour and 38 minutes.
Wow.
And which was nuts.
Yeah.
Hold on. What's going on? Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so all of those pink post-it notes were scenes that got cut out of the film, and then this was us trying to figure out the new ending of the film, because it was the original ending of the film was way more sad but way more real, and so we had to come up with a more lighthearted ending but we actually for the first time got the true meaning of like of a life worth filming, was that it was all worth filming, and because of what you do with it. And so that's Garrett right there, by the way. Garrett, he has an eye patch. And so yeah.
Nice. Those are so cool. I'm so glad I get to see all these.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah, these are, let's see. Yeah, the original Feel It, Learn From It, Move On. Yeah. I love this, dude. That desk is so dope.
It's really cool.
One time Zach got mad at me and he said, he was like, he was like, dude, either make the movie or get out of the way. And that lit a fire, dude. That lit a fire under me. And so yeah, but this is us finishing. So it was dope.
Wow. That's
yeah,
so cool. I have, I think, 3 more questions.
You can ask however many you want. I'm good.
Was there any footage that you thought you would never use, but then you did, or vice versa, that you thought you would use and then didn't? Which I feel like you kind of showed that with the whole story.
Yeah, definitely. There were like, hold on, I have to show you again. Like, well, I don't. Really, it was like footage of my mom that was really difficult. I think that was the difficult stuff to share. Like, going back to your question about like, was it hard sharing your life? Like, there were parts that were extremely difficult because it was very personal and very very real. And there were certain things that like during Darrick's mom's during my mom's funeral, for years I've talked about myself in the third person because it made it easier. So I'll do it for this. So in the scene where you're at Darrick's mom's funeral, and his sister is talking on the stage, and then it intercuts of audio of my sister talking, doing her eulogy, and then us, like my sister and I, crying, talking to mom. That is footage of us in the room the day my mom was like passed away. And so there's a scene where, hold on, I gotta show you this. Like, sorry, I'm going way more in depth, and if this doesn't work for your podcast, tell me and I'll stop it.
I absolutely love it, and it's answering like a lot of the other questions I had, so I was like, perfect.
Oh, okay, dope. Hold on, let me.
That's why I only have 3 left, because most of them have been answered. So I'm like, perfect.
I love that. Hold on. There's a clip here where Zach says that wasn't so bad, and it's literally. Yeah, this right here, and that's my little brother Gage right here. He's like that. So this is me going through that footage, looking at like my mom in the hospital bed, basically gone, and us just talking, and then right here, Zach. Whenever I get to the end, Zach says that wasn't so bad, and like. So it's those moments where it's like I did not want to show that, but letting people hear it was more than enough. and then also just the humor. There's also definitely footage that that like you know how do I say it, like there's definitely footage that just wouldn't have fit, you know, that I always thought we were going to put in there, like oh, I don't know. There was okay. So there's a I wanted one of the original cuts. I wanted to show the full story of why I did this prank and or not prank. Why have you ever heard of Chasing Cameron?
Yes.
Okay, so this was a docu-series about MagCon back in 2016. And I filmed a lot of that doc and a lot of the footage, like behind the scenes footage and stuff, was shot by Caleb and I. And one of them, and one of the episodes opens with me sticking a plastic spoon up my butt, just being and I lost. Basically, I lost a 1 in 10, and so that was the I wanted to show that full story of like why I actually did that, because it didn't make it into the docu series. It was just like Derrick stuck a spoon up his butt, blah blah blah. And that stuff didn't make it. So and then that goes back to like, is it showing story or is it just showing off? Like, is it crucial to the story, or are you just putting it in there because it's fun? And then the last rule that we had to learn was, is it important to this story or is it just important to you? And so, and that was probably the hardest pill to swallow,
Yeah,
which
I bet.
because that ultimately led to cutting that scene with my mom where she's like, you're going to miss out on life if you keep worrying about all of this. And so I'm glad it's in the director's cut, and I'm glad that that's available and all of that. And so yeah.
Cool. I well, one of the questions I was gonna ask you was, were there any like feelings of regret or anything like that? And then you touched on it in the film. So do you just want to talk a little bit about that?
Of course. Yeah. 100%. So much regret. And I sat in front of a computer for 2.5 years watching me make some of the dumbest mistakes and decisions of my life. And I felt like a ghost a lot of the time. Like there's a scene at the end of Interstellar where Matthew McConaughey is yelling back at himself, like, don't leave, like that. I definitely had those moments and full of regret. And I wish I had done I wish I had done a handful of things totally different. And but I because I faced those things head on, I was able to feel them. Like my mom used to say, feel it, learn from it, and move on. So I was able to feel it. I was able to learn that the pain of regret can either be tragedy or tuition. That's what my sister says. And it can either be, you can either be a victim of it or you can learn from it.
Yeah.
And so I learned from it, and I learned from my mistakes, and I'm not ever making those mistakes again, period. Like I'm not going to be stupid whenever it comes to like immature situations. Like I'm going to like I look back at some of those moments and I'm like, dude, I wish I could have just walked straight up to mom and said, like, we disagree and that has to be okay, but I love you. Like, and it's okay that we disagree on this, because there's one thing we can't disagree on, and it's that Jesus died on a cross for our sins. That's the one thing we can't disagree on. Everything else is chump change. Like, that's fine. That is fine. Like, and you just have to let me go do this. Like, I wish I could have said that, but it took a year to get to that conversation in the car in that parking lot with my mom, where she's like, it's okay if you disagree with me, like you should be able to. And it's just, and so I hope people learn from these things and learn that there's a difference between disagreements and life and death. Yeah, because you're never getting today back. Like, and yeah, and I'm the luckiest and richest dude on planet Earth, that I have my relationship with God, my family, and my friends, and that I had the opportunity to be able to sit down, to film my life, and then to also sit down and go through it and make something out of it. Because that made it all worth it. And that brought so much meaning to it because and that's ultimately the hero's journey. Like, if you can take the stupid stuff that you've done and use it for good. And the Bible says very clearly, God can work and will work all things for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And that is the life I want, because I do a lot of stupid stuff. And and I'm so grateful that God can use that for my good and for the good of those around me. And yeah, dude.
Amazing. I have one more question, and then, well, I guess kind of two. What can you share about your upcoming project?
Easy, dude. It's called 100 Pages. I'm partnered with three of my very, very best friends. We were talking about this the other day about how like our list of best friends are growing and but just like it's hard to figure out like how many best friends you can have, but and so but I'm partnering with three best friends of mine, Marcus Johns, Jesse Dueck, and Christian Del Grosso. And Marcus had an idea a couple of years ago, and I can't believe he sat on it for this long, but he had an idea a couple years ago about what would happen if we got 100 different people to write a movie together. And so he told me about it in June, and I every green light went off in my head. It checked every single box that I could have ever asked or imagined, plus some for my next project. And so basically on October 8th, we had a raffle day where 100 different writers from all over the world came to Franklin, Tennessee, to get a page raffled off to them for 100 different writers to write a single page of 100-page script over the course of 100 days. And then whatever movie they write, we're going to make it in the spring and summer of 2024. So we're on page 64 today. And we are and it is turning into a really cool movie. And so I'm like, so I'm directing the documentary series. Christian is directing the film. Jesse is our lead producer. And Marcus is like our head coach. And he's been coaching the story forward since day one. And him and I have just like, it's been so cool to get to film this story and watch all of our relationships continue to grow. And we have a long ways to go this year. This year is going to be a gauntlet, but you better believe it's going to all be caught on film. So,
Hey,
so yeah.
I am so excited for that. That sounds so cool.
Dude.
So speaking of this big project, which sounds amazing, what can people do to best support you and your this project, or like From My Eyes, and then 100 Pages and any future projects?
Heck yeah. Prayer number one. Just be just pray that we continue to see daily that every opportunity we get to create is just another opportunity to share the good news and to encourage people around us. And to love on people. And I would love if people would watch From My Eyes. That would be super cool. And share it with anybody that you feel like would enjoy it or needs it. And and then just whenever it comes to 100 pages, dude, follow along with us. We're posting on socials at 100 Pages Movie. And then we'll be moving into production hopefully in April, May, June-ish. And we'll continue to post throughout then. And then Landry, chill, bro. Chill. But yeah, just any support, just follow along, watch. If there's a donation link ever posted, donate $1 or $2. But ultimately your prayer and your support of watching and enjoying it just means the world to us. ultimately we want to create content that leaves audiences better than they were before they came.
Yeah.
That's the goal. While harboring and harvesting, maybe those aren't the right words. While, let me just re-say that. While also creating the Hollywood that we all dreamed about when we were in high school. Because each of the 4 producers on 100 Pages have seen and felt the Hollywood that is current, and it is not the one that we want to work for. But we will gladly collaborate when we want to. But our goal is to create the Hollywood that we dreamed about in high school, which is an anthem of collaboration, of a team that is just just so stinking diverse of stories and backgrounds and everything. And so because that was the high school we all went to. Like, we went to very diverse, amazing high schools. And I got to create with some of the greatest people in high school and now I get to do the same thing, and that's the Hollywood I want to be a part of. And so just praying for us as we continue to do that, and that God will provide. And that was a 2-minute version, 2 to 3 minute version of probably what could have been said in 1 to 2 sentences.
You're good. I love that. I always ask at the very end, what can we be praying for? So you covered that one too.
Oh yeah. Just provision and favor and creativity. And that is like, and health and wellness and and direction and all of it. And so but I can't say this enough, Lizzy. Like, I am the richest dude on planet Earth, and because of my God, my family, and my friends. And I feel sorry for you, Lizzy, because you'll never be able to be your friend. And so, but that's why but we are friends. I keep messing that up, and Landry's messing me up. Quit, dude. It goes, how the joke goes is, and I'm sorry, Lizzy, because you'll never be richer than me, because you can't be your friend. You can only be my friend there, and that's it. So
that's such a fun thing.
Landry's over here growling at me, and I'm like trying to get that joke out. You're not going out. No, I'm sorry.
You're good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I absolutely loved talking to you, and I'm sharing this on everything because I want people to watch it. I absolutely love the film. So thank you so much again.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be able to talk about it and to come and hang out with you. You are epic, and I can't wait. Well, thank you. And I learned it all from you. And so but I'm amped to continue to check out your show, and if I can ever do anything to continue to support you, let me know. And
thank you so much.
You're a boss, dude. Keep spreading the word on From My Eyes, and I hope we get to cross paths one day.
Me too. And of course, in heaven as well, we'll get to spend eternity together and
Heck yeah, dude.
hang out with Jesus. So
you'll get annoyed of me up there. Goodness. So keep.
Do you mind if I take a photo before we head out?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. If you just want to share the recording, I don't know. I find it easiest to do it in like Google.
I'll let it convert. I'll upload it to Google Drive, and I'll email you a link within like the next 10 minutes. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah. You're welcome. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. I had such a great time. Like I said, just talking to Darrick. He is such a great guy. It was so fun. Definitely go check out his film From My Eyes, and then just be on the lookout for all his other ones. Follow him on social media. I'll definitely be linking all his socials and everything, so you don't have to worry about that. If you could, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But more than anything, please go follow Darrick, and all the stuff that he's doing is so cool. I really hope that you saw some really cool stuff in this, because I know, like, he has just such good insight on just from looking back on, he got to literally look back on the 9 years of his life in video format. How cool is that? So definitely go check that out. But thank you guys so much again for listening or watching or however you were listening to this episode. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys for next week's episode, and God bless.